Barnstable this morning on this Tuesday morning, just about 8 minutes toward the top of the hour. I'm Sarah Colvin, and joining me live on the phone, I welcome our Assistant Director of Public Works, Rob Steen. Rob, good morning.
Hey, Sarah, how you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
So, Rob, of course, the weather is warm right now, but we certainly don't think that's going to be the case for the rest of the winter. And I know that you and the crew over there at the DPW really are working hard to prepare and get ready for the snow that we may see later on this season. Videographer Sarah Beal and I were down there at DPW yesterday to check out some of your new equipment, and these are the Snowfighters. Tell me a little bit about these Snowfighters and what their role is in terms of snow cleanup.
Okay, so the Snowfighter program was devised to sort of solve two problems. One is sort of an economic issue, and two was sort of a fleet strength issue. So on the economic side, the traditional model, you and Dan may have spoken to this before, was at this DPW and others, principally because of procurement reasons, we buy brand new trucks, we put spreaders on the back end of them, and then we just bathe them in salt for 10 years or so. And what we found was that after about 10 years, you had a truck with maybe 30 or 40,000 miles on it, but it was junk because we basically rotted it out. So as looking at that and trying to find a different way to do it, we decided to sort of look into the used truck market and say, wait a minute, if you can get a used truck, maybe with higher miles, but with a solid body, then let's rot that out. And then take the new trucks and use them as construction vehicles, which we also have a need for in the winter. And maybe that will work out. And the economics of that proved out. We built some models and ran them out for 30 years, and it proves out to be quite a substantial economic benefit to the town to do it this way. So then the second problem that we were trying to solve was fleet strength. And what I mean by that is, our fleet currently, as it was devised, it's comprised is, one 10-wheeler, which is a big dump truck, and then a whole lot of 6-wheelers, which are sort of mid-sized dump trucks, and then 1-tons and pickup truck. And even before last winter, we recognized that as a vulnerability. Last winter showed that in spades. So what the Snowfighter program does is solve both those things. And the trucks that you saw yesterday were the Oshkosh, where we were able to find used Oshkoshes, which are trucks that are built strictly for snow. That's what these things do. They've got twice as much horsepower as any of our 6-wheelers do, and frankly, more horsepower than a 10-wheeler does. They're built for airports, and they basically remove snow from airports, and that's where we're getting them off of the airport. So these are trucks that we are getting that are normally a $270,000 truck, but in our case, because we're getting them used, it's a 1994, 1997. They only have 10 to 40,000 miles on them, depending on the truck you looked at, because they were on airports. No rust, because airports don't use salt, because airplanes don't agree with salt. So we're able to get those for on the order of $70,000 to $80,000 per truck.
Awesome.
So substantial savings for the town to get those, and at the same time, and a huge increase in terms of the amount of power we now have within the fleet for basically any storm. Those trucks last winter would have continued to roll, whereas the vast majority of our fleet, other than our 10-wheeler, could not during Juno.
Right, and I know that was a big issue last year, was even the smaller trucks and even the mid-sized trucks, as you say, getting stuck just due to the sheer amount of snow. And looking at those Snowfighters, and we were showing those to our audience, really I can see how that will make a difference. Those are big, beefy trucks. So when will you decide to deploy those? Obviously, those aren't something that's going to be in use for every storm, but certainly specific storms, they'll be used.
No, actually, they will be in use for every storm. So what's going to happen is we are wrapping those into our main road fleet. So they'll be on the main roads for every spreading call and every storm. Now, what will get interesting is if we get into the Juno situation where we're finding we're losing our secondary road fleet, can we sneak one down a secondary road? Like last year, we had to put loaders down secondary roads to open them up, and one of these sneak down a secondary road. What's interesting about that is their wheelbase is effectively the same size as a 6-wheel. They're just a little taller and a whole lot more horsepower. So it, in theory, should be able to do at least some of the secondary road stuff. So my expectation is you're going to see these things deployed early and often all the time, and then when we get into those extreme Category B, Category C storms, as we talked about previously, you get into those storms, and then we're going to have to get creative with the use of them.
Absolutely. Well, Rob, I thank you so much for joining us today and sharing a little information about the Snowfighters, and we will look forward to seeing them in action. I can't believe I just said that, but I did. So,
well, Sarah, you'll have to come over and take a ride in one during a storm sometime.
Hey, that sounds like fun. We will do that. Rob, I thank you so much. Have a great day.
Always a pleasure. Have a great day.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Rob Steen, of course, is our Assistant Director of Public Works. I can't believe I just said that.
Yeah, that's your fault.
That's really bad.
We're going to blame the first snowstorm on you.
Okay.
You said you couldn't wait.
I did. I am excited. It would be fun to go for a ride in one of those
things look bad.